1537 Eastern Standard Time, 39 alien spacecraft crashed into red zones on every continent. While the source and purpose of these aircraft remains unknown, there's no mystery about their intentions.
Civilian transports have passed the city wall and are outside Munich. Incoming transmission.
The devastating liquid Tiberium explosion at Sarajevo triggered the awakening of the Scrin observers, and a swift invasion of the alien forces came soon after. Our first task is to escort VIP scientists in a tech lab in Munich out of the region. This is a good time to talk about the star of Act 4, the Scrin faction, and the various bullshit abilities at their disposal, featuring insta-kill buzzer swarms, one-shot infantry gun walkers, mega fuck you annihilator tripods, 12-yard comm shooter warships, frickin' mind control. Most of the stuff doesn't come out until later on though, so we don't need to worry about it in this mission. Despite the urgency of the situation, this mission is actually quite easy. The Scrin disintegrators are easily dispatched by our ground forces, and the Storm Riders are swiftly brought down by our pit bulls. Rush toward the top left area of the map and intercept these Storm Riders with our pit bulls before they can destroy the bridge over here. This makes the convoy cross the bridge instead of taking a detour, allowing us to skip a large chunk of the mission, making this already easy mission even easier.
Remarkable. That was just a remarkable recovery outside Munich. Now if you can just duplicate those results in Stuttgart.
Gee, thanks, Kersey. No pressure here. The success in Munich gives the GDI morale to build up momentum against the Scrin. The first of our efforts are concentrated in Stuttgart, where a GDI commando attempts to rally the local survivors against the Scrin presence. At the start of the mission, we must control the commando and rescue some engineers, which will be needed to reactivate the abandoned GDI bases in the area. Don't wander around too much, as numerous surviving GDI soldiers will join us when we get close to them. But they're too weak and are prone to being gunned down by nearby Scrin patrols. Go south first and take out a swarm of buzzers and rescue the engineers and retake the command post nearby to gain access to the minimap. From here, we move carefully toward the GDI outpost in the east. Detonate the 2 patrolling annihilator tripods with the commando. The NGs we rescued earlier can capture the husks of the destroyed tripods, giving us access to some tripods of our own. These annihilator tripods are powerful high-tech Scrin units and vastly outclass other Scrin units deployed in this mission. Furthermore, there are numerous veterancy crates scattered throughout the battlefield, more than enough to upgrade our tripods to heroic status. Once we reactivate the GDI outpost, hold the Scrin counterattacks heading toward the command post with some rifleman squads and gun turrets, and simply aim-move the heroic tripods and the commando toward the enemy base to finish the mission.
Fantastic work, Commander. Your next target is what we believe to be a major alien presence here in Cologne. Once you determine the level of threat, we can land some reinforcements and help you retake a GDI base there. That should give you all the resources you need to wipe out the enemy.
Next up is the city of Cologne, where GDI bases are still largely operational in the area. A small insertion team is airdropped into the zone to reactivate the main GDI base. The Scrin begins fielding gun walkers in this mission, which are capable of one-tapping GDI soldiers other than the commando. There aren't too many of them at the beginning, so just let the commando tank most of the enemy fire here, and there shouldn't be too much of an issue. Rendezvous with the engineering team and recapture the GDI base. The Scrin army from here on is mainly comprised of gun walkers and disintegrators, plus the occasional annihilator tripod or 2. Transition into vehicle production immediately so the nasty gun walkers don't pose a threat any longer. There is plenty of war near us, so we don't need to rush. Get some pit bulls or APCs against warships, some mammoth tanks to spearhead the attack, and some juggernauts to siege the powerful Scrin storm columns from afar. Don't forget some rigs for frontline repairs too. This combination should be sufficient for the rest of the mission.
The invaders have massed on the edge of Berne, Switzerland. We don't know why, but looks like a last stand to me. If they want to fight, I say give them everything we got. Let's send those alien bastards back to the red zone with their tails between their legs.
The string of GDI counterattacks have managed to hold the Scrin back, and we've arrived at Berne to eliminate the last of the major Scrin presence in the area. This is perhaps the hardest deathless mission thus far, and it becomes apparent once you see the elaborate initial setup we're given. Scrin attacks begin immediately, sending waves after waves of Seekers and Storm Riders against us from all directions. Initial armored assaults will arrive in the north, but sneak attacks including tripods, devour tanks, and a mastermind may also occur in the east. The relentless Storm Rider raids means that vehicle repair systems must be established immediately to prevent our tanks from dying. The initial army we're given is barely enough to hold against the enemy assault, defend our structures with the Predator tanks while we tech up with our initial funds. Construct several sonic emitters in the east and north to defend against attacks from the armored divisions while simultaneously pumping out a few mammoth tanks. The main problem in this stage occurs when the Scrin starts sending Devastator warships toward us. These aircrafts have such high range to the point where we can't even see them when they're firing, rendering AA batteries useless against them. Pit bulls and mammoth tanks are crucial here, as the mammoth tanks are the only units sturdy enough to survive the gunfire of warships and their Storm Rider escorts. The squishy yet mobile pit bulls can then provide the necessary anti-air firepower to bring down the warships. That's not where it ends though. The string of intense attacks will culminate with the arrival of the Scrin mothership. This unit is basically a mobile nuke, and if allowed to connect with our base, will instantly wipe us out. Bring it down using mammoth tanks and pit bulls before it reaches our base. After successfully holding our ground, the attack intensity drops dramatically and we can rest easy for a while. Send out a few mammoth tanks to destroy the eastern Scrin base producing Storm Riders and remove the bothersome air raids against us. There is also plenty of Tiberium located nearby, giving us more than enough funds to build whatever we want. Pull up at the main Scrin base up north with our usual composition. The shockwave artillery comes in handy here once again, disabling the defending Annihilator tripods and making the push much easier. Several Scrin warships are stationed on the other side of the main base, making it hard for even our mammoth tanks to approach the objective. Use the Juggernauts instead to take out the drone ship and complete the mission.
The invaders appear less concerned with taking control of our assets than with constructing structures in the red zones. Here to shed some light on these animal structures is Dr. Emil Ibrahim, research manager at GDI's Future Tech Lab. Now, what can you tell us about these strange red zone towers?
As with everything involving invaders, Tiberium is key. We know, for instance, that Tiberium fuels their craft, their weapons, and we know these towers are made of a Tiberium composite material. What we don't know is the purpose of these towers. We have only theories. Could be Tiberium refineries, missile silos, even Tiberium craft. We need to get closer. We don't have enough information.
Not so easy, is it?
Not so easy.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. Whatever these structures are, I think it's safe to say they were not built for the benefit of mankind.